Hello, hello, hello. Greetings to everyone. My name is Jennifer Carrington. I am the president of the Business Professional Women's Federation for the Texas Central Metropolitan Jurisdiction. I am so glad that you took out the time today to join us. If you are new to us, again, we are the Business and Professional Women's Federation for the Texas Central Metropolitan Jurisdiction. Our state supervisor is the one and only Dr. Gladys Lockett Ross, and our jurisdictional prelate is Bishop Frank E. Fanuel. I am so glad that you have taken out the time to join us today. We are presenting to you tonight a very, very, very special resource that I am sure everyone can take a part of. This free virtual event, our theme for tonight is called If I Am Not on My Way to Being My Best, then I'm in the way of my own progress. I can definitely say that I have been in the way of my own progress as well. I am a business owner as well, but even as a mother and so many things to so many other people, sometimes we can let distractions stand in the way of our own progress. We can let complacency, excuses. But tonight, we are encouraging you to get out of the way of your own progress and go ahead and take that first step. And need I say more, I will not prolong the time. We have some very special guest panelists on tonight, and I'm going to go ahead and ask our tech to put the flyer back up. We have Dr. Laureen Wishom. She is a grant writer and consultant, and she's going to be answering your questions and presenting on various ways you can get grant ready. And we also have a special guest out of Dallas, Texas, State Supervisor, I want to call everyone doctor tonight, Supervisor Vera Lewis, and she's also an author on tonight. And I don't want to prolong that because we have the bios that we want to share with you. We're going to go ahead and start with grant writing with our special panelist, Dr. Laureen Wishom. Dr. Laureen Wishom is a grant writer. She's a fundraiser, she's a consultant, and she specializes in working with nonprofit leaders and for-profit professionals. While working in corporate America, she held such professions as a project manager, team supervisor, and a senior project director. But she left corporate America in 2001 to start her own consulting company, and she has been happy ever since. She has well over 20 years of combined nonprofit and small profit business experience, which has allowed her to specialize in various areas stemming from nonprofit setup, grant research, grant writing, fundraising, board development and governance, business and strategic planning, company-wide training, overall documentation of policies and procedures, and eliminating all those stressful pain points for you. She is a one-stop shop. Her education includes a PhD of Psychology and Christian Counseling, Master of Arts in Psychology, Bachelor of Arts in General Education. She has several of various awards, and the list goes on and on. Finally, I would like to say, as a personal touch, she has one son. She lives in Houston, Texas. And I want to say that I've also utilized her services as well. So if you are dealing with any of those pain points when it comes to writing your own grant or your nonprofit or your for-profit business, look no further. Dr. Wishom is here for you, and get your questions ready as well. Usually the questions always come after we say goodbye. So get your questions ready. I don't want to prolong the time. I think Dr. Wishom is in the room. I think I see her screen as black. So let me see if I can bring her to the stage. Let's see here. All right, Dr. Wishom, are you here? I think there may be something either blocking your screen. Okay, I can see you in the dark.
Yes, I am here.
Okay, I tell you what, let me do this, if it's okay. Let's see here. I can do this. Put you down here, and I'm going to go ahead and let you present so that people can see the presentation. Okay.
Can everyone hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
great.
we can hear you.
As Ms. Carrington said, I am Dr. Laureen Wishom. I have a special love for nonprofits and for-profits. Um, I hope tonight that I can share something with you or help you with some things that you may need either on the for-profit or the nonprofit side. So on my first slide, you'll see that the things that I focus on, which is the research, the writing, and the securing of grants. I have to tell you this story. Earlier this year, I had been working with someone off and on some other projects, but she found a grant that she thought she would qualify for. She had never, she had a nonprofit for 10 years. She had a for-profit as well, but we took a chance and I did write her grant and she ended up first time out. She ended up getting $50,000. So that was such a tremendous win, especially when someone is, they know about nonprofits, they know about for profits, but they have never gone after anything. So this is the first time, and it worked for her. So I do work with women who are seasoned, those that are in the growing process, or those that are just starting out new. Okay. So my focus is you as the client, services to you. That's always going to be the most important. And my focus also is getting you ready to be a partner with someone else, a collaborative partner or a partnership if that's what you desire. Because the way things are today, it's good to have these partnerships and collaborations. I mean, there's
Dr.
no doubt
Newsom,
about it.
I'm sorry for interrupting. I do apologize. I think there's some technical, either it's on my side, I'm not sure if anyone can comment and confirm on their side. Might need to get closer to the microphone just to double check because I'm hearing either an echo of some kind or it's cutting in and out. So, but I'm gonna remove and mute my line, but I'm gonna have you continue where you left off. But I would just say get closer to the mic if you can.
Well, I'm actually on top of the mic, so um, did that help at all? Okay, now you're muted, so let me.
Yes, that fixed everything. You're good. You're
You
good.
know, I'm so sorry. I actually had it open twice, so that's why we were
There we go.
hearing that
Sounds
problem.
good. Okay, you're on.
So you don't have to pass it up. But I wanted to talk a little bit also about pain points. And these are things that I tend to help people with. They don't know where to start. They're so overwhelmed with so much information. They don't know quite what to do first. They're not ready to put themselves out there. And you got to be willing to do that. You got to be willing to say, I'm going all the way. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to do it. And they tried a lot of things, but nothing seems to work. There are people who are in those type of situations. But don't ever give up if you tried 10 things and nothing worked, because the 11th thing may be the one thing that works. And then some people have ineffective strategies. They haven't spent the time necessary to come up with a good strategy. Don't give up. Don't let that be a factor in keeping you from your dreams. And also, some of the other pain points is if you don't have automation for your repeatable processes, there's non existent documentation, and you don't really have clarity. You may need to just spend some time and just look at what you're wanting to do and just see, is that right for you? You may have a desire to be a nonprofit, but all things are pointing towards you being a for-profit. Sometimes we have to stop doing what we think we want to do and do those things that are truly important to us. So, why do I do this? There's a great need for it. So myself and my team, we're ready to step up to help you with the right initiative, whether it's on the for-profit or the nonprofit side. Why now? I think now is so important because there are so many needs. I just got a call today from a gentleman. He's starting to feed the hungry. So he wanted me to help him get that done, to start advertising, to start letting people know he's out there, he's got food, he wants to provide it for those who are in need. So again, that's a support from us that we will step in anywhere we're needed and help you. And then why you? Well, we're the right company. Well, I should say, why me? We're the right company that solve problems and needs on a consistent basis. I've been doing this a long time. I've wanted to go do other things, but my calling is still here. My passion is still here, and this is where I operate the best. So I want to talk about three things if you're a nonprofit or a for-profit that you should have ready. If you're a nonprofit, you should have your uh, nonprofit organizational paperwork set up with the state. You should incorporate your articles with the state, and you should fill out the necessary paperwork to receive your 501. If by chance you can't get that done or you're confused with it, I'd love to help you do this. We do this on a consistent basis, so we can help you with that. If you are a for-profit, you want to set up, hopefully it'll be an LLC. You do want to incorporate with the state, and you also want to get set up with the state comptroller. So those are the three things, if you had to do something, what I would consider that will take you the longest distance is having your articles done, receiving your 501c3 status, being set up with the state comptroller. Those things are critical. Now, this slide doesn't come out well, but I don't know how I got to that. I'm missing a slide here. Hang on just a moment. I see where I'm missing a slide. We talked about the pain points. We talked about the need. We're talking about going forward, doing it. Now is the time. I ended up with a client over a month ago. She was so hesitant. We talked for about 2 or 3 weeks. And finally, she said she was in her 60s. And she said to me, I'm just going to do it. If I put it off another year, another 2 years or 3 years, it will never get done. So what she did was She stepped forward, she made the step, she decided that this is what she was going to do. And sometimes that's not the easiest thing to do. So if I can help you in any way, figure out where you should go, where you shouldn't go, talk to you about the latest opportunities, the latest initiatives, I would love to be able to do that. I've got the years of experience. I'd like to help you as much as I possibly can. Again, my name is Dr. Laureen Wishom, and I work with for-profits and nonprofits. We can start at any point, and we can get everything done for you that you need at any point in time. Thank you. Hello.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Hey, I apologize. So we have a question by Aquanita Ernest, and she said, "Is there a good time to apply for grants? A good time of the year to apply for grants?"
To be perfectly honest, there isn't. One of the things I really like to do for someone coming into this arena is getting you set up with grants.gov, because once you're on that database, you're going to see so many grants. I kid you not, there's probably 1,000 grants per day. Per day. But a lot of times you don't see them because they're on the government side of the database. They're companies that advertise, but they advertise there. So actually, um, there's not a good time. They're always available, but most people do like to go at the grants in October, November, December, and January. But just bear in mind, it's all grants are always available at any time, anywhere, anytime.
Okay, and you said grants.gov. I'm going to make sure we post that on the screen.
Well, actually, it's GSA.gov.
Okay, GSA.gov. Okay, because
And I mean, if you're thinking about this, and even if you're a for-profit, they have grants for for-profits as well. If you want to get a contract with the government, that's also another place that GSA.gov has those opportunities. So it's a good place to get yourself registered.
awesome, awesome, awesome. And I believe there is a call to action that you have that we can provide for those who would like to schedule some time with Dr. Wishom. I think about just the fact that we have these guests online today. It's a perfect opportunity for you to transition either your nonprofit or business. I recently did a presentation on the difference between transitioning and change. A lot of times we think we need to just, watch a video or go into a workshop or attend a live session like this, and we will just magically understand all the knowledge and have all the information that we need. The thing about that, you can make one change, but we're trying to set you up to make a lifetime transition. So imagine think to yourself, what can you do with $10,000 for your nonprofit or business? What can you do with 50,000? This, a lot of times it depends on the need and how well you present that need to the stakeholder. So another way I like to look at it is when it comes to change, think of it like this. When we're trying to change our body, we can change our clothes every day and just change today, change tomorrow. That's a one and done. But a transition is a life change or a life
Mhm.
change. For example, going to the gym, it takes time and it takes work and it takes effort. So invest in yourself, invest in your nonprofit organization. While I'm going to pull up the next question, I'm also going to um, get her contact information on just in the chat window, so you can take advantage of that as well. and let us know where you're watching from as well. Let's see. So a next question that came in is, what type of business do I need to have to receive a grant? I'm not sure what that question is about, but
No, I think I understand what she's saying. Um, Businesses that are good right now that, uh, if you're tending to feed the hungry, if you wanna start a charter school, if you want to, offer a new program that will help those that are dealing with mental issues at the present time, those things are always good. Because there are so many grants, it's not necessarily one thing is better than the other. But I can tell you that whatever you've got the idea to do, you won't be the first to do it most of the time. It's already been done. You just need to, just want to do it even a little bit better than what has already been done because the opportunity is always there. The funding is there for anything that you could possibly think of. There is money available to go after the grants, or if you want to be on the for-profit side, just start it as a for-profit business, even though there are grants as well for profits. So just about anything that you want to do, the opportunity is definitely there.
okay, I think we had a tiny glitch. So if everyone, I think everyone's still in place. So we should be back to our live session. Yes, we are back. I think we had a tiny glitch. So if you can continue with answering the last question about the type of businesses that can receive a grant. I do apologize with technical difficulties here.
Okay, I'll go over it again. Actually, there's not one business that's necessarily favored over another. I've done grants, I've done charter schools, I've done nursing programs, I've done home health programs, I've done feeding the hungry. I've done that since we've had the pandemic. I've done programs that deal with mental challenges for adults as well as for children. I mean, just about anything that you could possibly think of, believe me, there is a grant somewhere. Now, there are some things, yes, grants are more prevalent if you're doing certain things, but I would be more than happy to always talk to you about your opportunities, look up and see where you are and what can be done to add to it. It's just a matter of are you willing to put forth the time and effort that's necessary? That's what makes the big difference. But grants are there for just about any opportunity that you can think of.
Okay, this is awesome. This is awesome. And we have time for one more question as well. Is it important to know, for example, if you are a business that provides services, or if you're a business that provides products, how important is it to be confident and 100% sure of your brand before you start looking for grants?
Well, you can actually start once you've gotten your 501, you've done your articles, you've done everything. You can start the process of looking around. You're registered with grants that, I mean, with GSA.gov. The opportunities are there. It makes a difference too if you've got a lot of people, if you have a lot of followers. If you don't, take those next 2 or 3 months and start to build your followers. Also, you can go after grants that you want to go after, even if you don't have a large following, because you can go after it in an in-kind manner. I had a client a couple of years ago. We gave her 6 months. She came up with $101,000 in 6 months in kind. That qualified her to go after grants where she could get more donations and more money. So again, there's always a way to end up getting funded for what you have a desire to do or want to do.
Okay, and then we have another question from Miss Boyd. It says, wouldn't you need to be a 501c3 for grant funding?
Yes,
I think you kind of answered that earlier as well.
yes.
Yes.
However, on GSA.gov, they do have opportunities that if you've got a LLC, and of course you wouldn't have a 501 with that, but they do have opportunities for LLCs as well.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome sauce. Any more questions? Feel free to post them in the chat and we will definitely get to them. And at this time, I want to definitely thank Dr. Wishom for her time. I'm going to go ahead and make sure her information is in the chat really shortly. But I want to again thank her for her time. And I will like to say that she's helped me in so many ways to get grant ready. And so I want to thank her for all of her all of the things that she's done to assist me. And if she can do it for me, she can do it for you. She's very consistent. And then she will hold you accountable. A lot of times, I'm just speaking from experience. I'm talking about myself. We can say, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And we put it aside. But it's very important to have that accountability partner. Just we were talking about making that lifestyle transition. Some people say change, but a lot of times we don't have that accountability partner to help us and whisper in the ear, okay, it's time to get going. Let's go. Or here's a checklist. Let's move forward or let's press forward. Whatever motivation that you need, she is that for you. So I did put her information in the chat. We're going to go ahead and transition to our wonderful next special guest. I'm going to relinquish my stand. Thank you so much, Dr. Wishom. Hang around for any more questions that may come through. I'm going to shift gears and we're going to put you into the hands of Lady Edwards. And she's going to come into the room and introduce our next.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joyce Edwards, and I am going to introduce a very dear person to me. It's Mother Vera L. Lewis. She is Supervisor, Texas Central Metropolitan Ecclesiastical Jurisdiction. Supervisor Vera Lewis is a dynamic speaker and compelling spiritual teacher of God's Word. Founder of Vera Lewis Ministries, her mission is to give hope, encouragement, and inspiration to every soul she encounters to survive against all odds and in spite of what has happened to them. She was saved at an early age of 14 years old, and God has continued to anoint and use her. She is the co-founder of the Bethlehem Church of God in Christ, located in Fort Worth, Texas, which was founded by her visionary husband, the late Elder James David Lewis. Mother Vera Lewis received her nursing degree from the St. Joseph School of Nursing and is a retired nurse. She has dedicated her life to the care of others, both naturally and spiritually. She is the mother of 3 children. She is the proud grandmother of 5 grandsons who have already begun to carry out the Lewis tradition of excellence. Evangelist Lewis holds an honorary doctorate degree from the DFW Bible Institute and Seminary. Mother Lewis published her first book, What Happens to Me After He's Gone. She was inspired to write this book after her husband's transition from life on earth to life in glory in 2008. Mother Lewis's book empowers every woman, especially pastors' wives, to strategically plan for financial survival after the loss of their husbands. It touches on the severity and unpredictability of life that should encourage women to be prepared both spiritually and economically at all times for whatever life hands us. She believes the greatest gift of love a man can give to his beloved wife is a blueprint for financial security. Mother Vera L. Lewis served as district missionary for the Stop 6 district for 30 years under the leadership of Supervisor James Beard. Mother was appointed jurisdictional supervisor in 2019 at the request of Bishop Reginald L. Williams, Sr., prelate of Texas Metropolitan Jurisdiction. She believes that you can live a saved and prosperous life here on earth without compromising the gospel. Her messages are spirit filled, her compassion is heartwarming. Mother Lewis delivers a powerful and purposeful message that will change your life forever. She believes that what's coming is better than what's been. And I introduce to you Mother Vera L. Lewis.
Hello.
Good evening, Mother.
It's she, daughter. So good to be with you all. I appreciate the introduction and the opportunity you and Sister Jennifer have allowed me to come forth today. So I'm praying that this information will be of benefit to someone. And what inspired me to write it, I just saw so many tragic stories that I knew of first ladies especially, and then just women everywhere. The more I researched, I found out that there's over 70% of the women who had husbands before was poverty, really poverty stricken. They lost so much and they seemed not to ever get back on track. And I said, well, something needs to, this is a secret that really needs to be let out, and so women will prepare for the unexpected. And this is where I want women everywhere. And a lot of times, even the husbands, they don't know what they're not aware of things that happen that could happen to their wives. They just haven't thought about it. It's not out of cruelty or neglect, but there are some questions I just had put down that I just kind of want to quickly go through. I know my time is limited, so I want to get as much information out there as I can to you. But I saw too many struggling and broken and depressed first ladies, and seemed like they didn't know what to do with themselves, and seemed like they would disappear. You wouldn't see them anymore, hear their work anymore. And I know these women are valuable to the kingdom, and they have so much to give because they have given so much, and they have so much more living to do. And I just wanted to encourage them and let them know there's much more in life. Even after the Lord take our husbands home, it's not easy, but it can be done. I had to do it, but you're stronger than you think you are, and you're certainly wiser even now from what you've gone through. So I had noticed that even we can't do anything about the unpredictability and changeability of life, but we can do something about. We can help orchestrate the aftermath and plan something to be prepared financially. Emotionally, we're going to feel drained and we're hurt. But I know God is the balm for bereavement, and He is the healing for hurt. But we know that if you put things in order financially, there's going to be a lot of turnaround. But when you are financially in place, it does help the grieving process, because you can grieve a lot better if you're not struggling, trying to keep your home, if you're not helpless, if you're not being put out, if you don't see people come and pull your car off, and you know where you are and what you have. And so that's a comfort to you, even through the grieving process. And that's definitely makes you stronger. And we realize that death is going to happen. You don't know when. It's unexpected. We don't, whatever the age is, age does not matter. I've seen young pastors that, they thought they had plenty of time, and a lot of time they used all of their income. They didn't have the insurance, and right in the middle of their ministries, they were something would happen. The Lord would take them home, and then those wives are they're bewildered. They don't even realize, like they're in a twilight zone. But when you know where everything is, it's just a lot easier. The process is better, and it's just preparing for life and the unexpected. So some of the things they want to know why I wrote this, and because I saw a pastor wife that I knew, especially, and they had the big brick homes. They had the largest church in that area. And after he passed, she had to move into a Section 8 housing. And even when she died, they had to send out communique to see how many of us could come in and help bury her. And she was buried in a pauper's grave. And I just said, this is too much. Something has to be done. Someone has to speak out. So no one, I didn't see anybody talking about it. And that's what kind of bothered me. And so we want to be ready to be the for the unforeseen. And I think one was asking, they asked what is the importance of being ready by having all of our financial and legal matters in order before we face the death of our spouse. Well, if you don't want to wait till after, you want to do it before. But so that's preparation. So you want to have your financial assets in place. We want to think smart. I know it's not easy to think about death, but death is here and it's not going anywhere. And we don't know when or the time, although it could happen to us. Well, we want to be, even our husbands, to be prepared. So we want whoever it is, but certainly the wives, know yourself and what you have and do not have. You need to know for yourself and not guessing what you have. And you're not guessing, am I going to be able to survive? Am I going to be able to maintain my present lifestyle after he's gone? You need to know this and not guess. And it's not anything wrong with you asking questions. It's your future is at stake. And so you don't want to be the poor and pitiful wife and widow that everyone is, is going to really forget eventually. So you got to know how to survive for yourself. This is personal. And so you have to know where if you have insurance. First of all, know if you have insurance. I've saw so many that I brought to seminars. The women didn't know if they had insurance or not. And most of them didn't know if they did, how much the policy was. What are you going to do with $50,000? What are you going to do with $100,000? What are you going to do with $200,000? What if you've retired and you're sick and you're not able to go to work if something has happened to him? It was one pastor's wife. She had been retired for 15 years. Then he died. She was only 57 years old. And he died suddenly. And so she had to go back to work. She got a job in the school cafeteria. And from then on, her life kind of spiraled down. And she never did get back to where she was. And she just really was bitter to the end. And we don't want that to happen to anyone, any of our sisters at all. So I found that all ethnic groups, that there were so many that were struggling, especially women of all races and denominations. They just, after the spouses left, their lives were just like a twilight zone. And so I thought this book would help with this. And so even where you're going to live, sit down and ask your spouse. And if he can't give you a direct answer to these questions, then you're going to be in trouble. So you need to ask him. I wrote down, you need to ask him if something happens to him today, if he doesn't make it home, where would you live? What happens to you? You have to know that 57% of women outlive their husbands. So you need to sit down and talk to your spouse and ask frankly, if something happens to you today, what happens to me? How will I live? Will I be able to maintain my present lifestyle? Do we have insurance? What kind of insurance? So you have to know, even ask him, where is the policy? You need to see it for yourself. And if you have a policy, don't just lay it around the house. Make sure you can get your hands on it. Have it in a safety deposit box. Don't have it at home. If something happens, there's a storm, and the policy get lost, then you have to go back and try to find it. So you want to know if there's enough coverage for you that you can maintain your present lifestyle, and that you will have your home, if nothing else. Do you know anything about the mortgage, MPI, mortgage protective insurance? That when something happens to you, the home is automatically paid for. So you won't have that struggle. You know you have a roof over your head. And so I did see, and I know of those first ladies, and some are not first ladies, they just women of the Lord whose husbands died and they had to move out of their homes. They moved in apartments, and some of them, and you need to watch this, if you have your home or your car, is it in you all's name? Please don't get you all's business mixed up with the church's business, because that's a web that's hard to get out of. And I have seen that happen also, and that they had bought the home and the car through the church's name to save on certain things, tax exempt. Well, when that spouse died, that pastor, that leader, then it automatically transferred to the church, and they had to move out. They had to give up the car. So you want to make sure and know what's yours. What are you entitled to? Where is it? And so this is what have just come to me. And then they had questions about how will it affect the children if something happens? Will it have an effect on the children? Well, your children suffers when you're suffering. If you have to move and you've been in on the boulevard for the last few years and have to move downward to where you really don't want to be, and put your children in a school zone where they don't really need to be, that's very traumatic for those children. But when they also see something happens, they can see that you're covered, and your spouse left you all comfortable. And you're gonna grieve. That's natural. You love him, you're gonna grieve, but you don't want to be so destitute until you just can't see your way. You never really recover, because you see things that just have changed really so to detrimental to you that you just can't survive. You don't want to be where you can't survive afterwards. And you have to know who you are. Who you are, and not be afraid to secure your future. Ask questions. And before time, I see so many women said, well, my husband does everything. He pays all the bills. He's in charge of everything. Well, you need to take, that's a good thing, but please know something about the business, know who you are, and know what you're going to have and what you're going to have after he leaves. Know where the mortgage papers are, know where the phone company is, the light company, know how to do something for yourself. And do not lose your identity behind being the first lady. Know who you are. You have purpose. You have work to do. So you want to always keep your inner person alive, your purpose alive, your work alive. And so this is where you can be the best wife in the world, but you also don't want to neglect who you are and what God has given you. So this is what I've had put down, because I wanted to share this with you. And I think another question that was asked, I just talked about the children, because whatever you're going through, they're going to go through it with you. And if you have grown children still, they're going to go through it with you. So you don't want them to be in that state where they have to just the whole life, everybody's lives are turned upside down. And so this is where you want to be, where you're protected. You know what you have, you know the value. You do not want to outlive your money. Make sure you have enough money that will sustain you. And many of the husbands out there, that they're dying at earlier ages now because of the stress of life and different things. Things just happen. So things out of our control. So we want to be where we know that we will have the life that God intended for us to, and our husbands want us to have a good life afterwards. They really do. But you have to sometimes sit down And I say I call him your Boaz, and talk to your Boaz and said, ask them the questions that need to be asked. Is this house ours? Is this car ours? Is it in our name? Then, what are the last payments on it? What just the things that have you borrowed any money that I don't know of? So know about all of this here. So we want to be prepared to eliminate the tragedy and the stress and the heartache as much as we can. You're going to go through enough as it is, just missing him, and automatically you become the head of the house, and you have to learn how to be that head of the house, but use wisdom and direction. You have to change some of your spending habits and watch your outgo, to make sure that your income won't be outgoing, won't be more than your income. So you're going to watch all of this here. So this book prepares you for the simple, unexpected things in life. And I'm praying that it will be a blessing to you. You can get this book on veralewisministries.org. And I'm praying that it will be a blessing, and you will be prepared for the unexpected, and you will live the blessed, profitable, happy life, no matter what happens or comes your way.
Well, Mother, that is beautiful, and just and I call you Mother because of the office you hold, the
That's fine.
jurisdiction. But I also call you Mother as a term of endearment because you are my mother. When we lived
Bless
in
you.
Fort Worth, my
Yes,
husband
yes,
and I, for those, this is just a little information, a little insight. My husband and I, Pastor Rodney Edwards, Little Church of God in Christ. Sorry about that. We lived in Fort Worth over 27 years ago, and we were members of Bethlehem Church of God in Christ.
yes. You are the
Where,
best. You are the best.
thank God, where Pastor James David Lewis, what a beautiful man of God.
Yes, he
And,
was.
and at that time, First Lady Vera Lewis, they were our pastor and First Lady, and beautiful, beautiful people. And we only moved back to Houston, back home, so our child could know her grandparents and her family.
Yes,
Other than that,
yes,
we stayed in Fort Worth anyway.
yes.
But but this book is so important, and you brought out so much wisdom.
Thank you.
And
Thank
for
you.
those who are listening, I'm going to tell you this book, it is a quick read,
Yes,
but it
that's
is
why I
a
wanted
very
it.
deep read. It is I have the book in my hand. I have the actual book, and I have the ebook.
Oh,
And
great.
it is about 48 pages,
Yeah.
very quick read. And it's something that we all need to know about, not just, as
Yes.
you've already said, not just pastors' wives, but
Mm-hmm.
any married woman or any woman, period.
Yes.
And I would like for you to elaborate just a little bit. In your book, at the end of each chapter, it says, "There is a word," and you have a scripture after that. Would you elaborate on the fact that our Father does not leave us, his children, without answers to life circumstances? Would you talk about that for just a few minutes?
I found that necessary because whatever book you read, nothing supersedes the word, the Bible, the Lord, and he has something, a word that covers everything that we're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And I am an advocate of his word, and just maintaining his word and get it into our soul, not just read it, but get it in our heart. And it will carry you, it will lift you, it really will. And even by other books by good saved authors that will
Mm-hmm.
lift your spirit. Joyce Meyer has a book I bought after my husband died. She has a section on grieving, healthy
Mm-hmm.
grieving and
Mm-hmm.
unhealthy grieving. And she
Mm-hmm.
also points to the fact that if you can grieve, it's just easier when you are set up financially,
Uh-huh.
and you don't have that burden and that struggle. It's hard enough as it is. But
Yes.
if you sit up grieving and missing him, and they're cutting your lights off, you don't have money to groceries, you don't have money for your children, they're pulling your car out of the yard, You
My
have to get out
God.
of your house. I've seen all of that.
My
And there
God.
is a word, Psalm 66:12 say he will lead you into a wealthy place. He will give
Okay.
you an idea on how to provide. And then Psalm 71:20 and 21. Only the living God can revive you again. Only he can
Mm-hmm.
revive you again because you're going to
Mm-hmm.
feel dead on the inside. But that
My.
living God can revive you again and increase your greatness, it said, and comfort you all around on every side.
Yes,
This
yes,
word
yes.
will give
Thank
you
you.
what you need.
Thank you. The word is life. Thank you.
Yes, it
And if
is.
you, two more things. Would you speak to any Boaz that might be on the line right now or
Yes.
might watch this YouTube video or Facebook at some point? Would you speak to the Boazes in each woman's life?
I'm going to speak to the Boaz, and then I do want to say this to the women out there who've lost your spouses. Learn how to let go and move on. There's a change in your life, and you have to accept the change. Respect the memories, but don't try to hold on to something and fight towards something that's not there anymore. You have to, and God has more for you than you even think. But you have to let go and move on, and God will help you with that. But if speaking to the Boaz, uh, sit down kindly and said, "Would you just sit down and let us talk about this? This is on my mind and really bothering me because I don't know. You know, most pastors' wives have retired." And they are just living that life. But you don't want to forget who you are. Keep your
Mm-hmm.
identity. You know, I even tell Pastor Wise, use your first name sometime. You know, let people
Mm-hmm.
know who you are. Let them know you are Joyce Edwards. You're not just
Yes.
Mrs. First Lady Edwards, but you're Joyce. You know, I'm Vera Lewis. So keep that. But you sit down and said, like I said before, ask him these questions. Say, I want to talk to you. If something happened to you, if you don't come home today and something unexpected happened that we wish would never happen, but we know death is coming to all of us and we don't know where it is. Could you tell me what happens to me? How will I be able to live? What
Mm-hmm.
banks do we have? What's in the accounts? And ask
Mm-hmm.
him what kind of will I be able to maintain the way we're living now, hon? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, how much is the policy? You said we have a policy. How much is
Mm-hmm.
it? And then
Mm-hmm.
look at it for yourself. Just don't say,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And if he said, "Well, I don't want to talk about that," he said, "Oh yeah, we have to. We really have to talk about this,
Yes.
even if I have to write a letter or text you." but we, but we have to talk because your life is at stake.
Yes.
And I mean, people are not going to sleep and not waking up. They're
Right.
going to work and not coming back. So we have to and get if you have a policy, be sure you can put your hands on it. Know what kind of policy it is. Know is it term life or what kind of policy you have. Do not keep it in a shoebox or drawer. It could be a storm in your house.
Mm-hmm.
Something fire could catch it on, but put it in a deposit box in the bank where if
Mm-hmm.
something happens, just go to that bank and get your policies. You know how much the policies are, what they're worth, and what kind they are, and will it cover you? But we have to stop thinking, well, I've so many women have these $20,000, $30,000 policies and
Mm-hmm.
$50,000 policies. You can't live on that.
No.
I mean, you cannot. Not especially this day and time. And
Right.
you have to think, and we have to think in the millions now if you don't want to outlive your money. And
Yes.
a lot of first ladies not able to go back to work. They have no skills or they don't want to go back to work. So
Mm-hmm.
prepare for now. You know, prepare
Mm-hmm.
now so you won't have to if you don't want to. And
Mm-hmm.
and I just think everybody, when you can, you might have to let go of some shopping or something, but look into that mortgage protective insurance. So
Uh-huh.
whatever happens, your home is paid for.
Yes.
And if that home is paid for, that real estate is good money. That's
That's
good for
right.
you. And you know you'll always have a place to live.
Yes. That is such wisdom, such wisdom. And I got my book from Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
and I got my ebook from Barnes and Noble, and I know there
Okay.
are other your book is in other places, and I know if you go to veralewisministries.org,
Yes.
you will find all of the places you can order this book. And I highly recommend and strongly encourage every woman to get this book. This is actually like it says, a survival guide. It's
Yes.
if you go through each chapter and you write each thing down, that's your checklist right there.
That is right. That is right.
So get the book. It's wonderful, quick, easy read, very affordable. And thank you so much, Mother, for
You're welcome.
sharing that information with us. And we thank God for inspiring you to help women that are pastors' wives, and they may not know what to do or what's going on.
And
So
even every woman needs to prepare. You
yes,
know,
ma'am.
every woman. There's divorced women. There just single women who never married. Just something happened and you get sick. Be
Mhm.
prepared for the
Mhm.
unexpected.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much. And Missionary Carrington, it is back in your hands. God bless you, Mother.
Bless you. Thank you all for having me.
Yes, ma'am.
Love you.
I'm so excited. I'm just talking and it's muted. Okay, I hope you can hear me now. Let me know in the chat if you can. I do apologize. Thank you so much, each and everyone for joining us on today. If you missed the first half with the grant writing and the tips and the tools and the resources that you need to ensure that you have everything in place to get the tens of thousands of dollars for your organization, your nonprofit, or your business, whatever it is, you missed a treat. Please watch the replay. And I'm going to let you know that that information has been posted in the comments on how you can get in contact with Dr. Wishom, who was on our first half. And then, of course, thank you, Lady Joyce Edwards, for introducing us first and foremost to the author of What to Do After He's Gone, Supervisor Vera Lewis she's a supervisor of the Texas Metropolitan Jurisdiction. Thank you so much. If you have any more questions for our special guest who gave us all those tools and resources, please post them in the comments. We do have some very, very, very special guests, and I want to thank everyone for joining us. Thank you to our national president who is also watching. Let me see if she's still in the room. We have Mother Bonnie McPeak who stopped by. And I see also her supervisor, let me see, Mother Josie Bell of Southwest Michigan 2nd is watching. Thank you so much. We have a lot of our TCMJ members. Dr. Gina Adams is in the room, is in the house. Miss Savannah Carrington is in the house. Tony Sanders Green is in the house. We have so many in the house. Thank you all, Cheryl TC, Bessie Stovall, Evelyn, Waylon. Thank you all, Stephen, for registering. If you have registered, by the way, the registration was free. We will be sending you the information to your email as well. And then I'm going to actually post my information. Let's see. As well, if you are looking to get that sent to you, you can definitely look me up as well. I'm the president of the Business Professional Federation for Texas Central Metropolitan. Again, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Let me see if we have any more comments or any more questions. Thank you all so much. I hope I didn't miss anyone. Stephanie Bodner, thank you so much for joining us. Let me see. Oh, so many. But thank you all for the questions. Miss Boyd, Lily of the Valley is in the house. The Bishop Frank Faniel, which is my bishop, he's in the room. thank you all so much for joining us. What valuable information we received tonight. Please take time to watch the replay. And I want to thank again our special guest, Dr. Wishom, the grant writer extraordinaire, and Supervisor Vera Lewis for all of those resources in talking about that BOAS. And you better get over there and ask your BOAS some serious questions. Because, you know, it's comfortable on one end, but until it happens to you, again, the title of her book, what to do, what happens after he's gone. And I think the same applies to men. If your wife passes away and she's the mother of your children, and what do you do? You know, it's a conversation to be had. It's a conversation to be had. So thank you, everyone. We are at that mark where it is time to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, God bless you and be blessed.